So this is The Boys, Season 2, Episode 4. Um, this is just, this episode is so boring. I hate to break it to you, but it's just a filler episode. So, anyways, during the episode, you'll see scenes like this with some lady that's trying to be in The Bachelor or something, and they don't really explain what it is, but, you'll find out later on. I'll explain later. So, Kimiko is pretty upset about her brother being dead, and Stormfront on the news bragging about it. So, Frenchie tries to go and kiss her, thinking that's going to make it better, and she nearly almost kills him. Homelander here is starting the beginning of his mental breakdown with Stormfront, and he's had enough of her crap already, and just as I thought, it's gonna be coming to a head here. The Butcher, along with his CIA lady, discuss what happened about Kimiko's brother and that botched recovery of him, and she feels bad, and she found out where his wife is being held, and she gives him the info, and he's on his way to get his wife back now. Now, these scenes in this episode are just so cringe and uncomfortable, but they're funny at the same time. So we have Doppelganger here from the first season, who's basically Mystique from X-Men. He can turn himself to look like anybody he wants, and Homelander wants him to look like Madeline, the lady he killed on the season finale, his breastfeeder, basically. So she's he's telling him that you're the best and you don't need anybody, and Madeline's here for you, and I got your breast milk and all this craziness. So the butcher is telling Honey's Milk, hey, I'm off to get my wife, and you're the head of the crew now, and you can make a deal with the CIA lady like I did, and you'll get your life back and all this. And he's pissed off at Butcher, and the Butcher basically destroyed this guy's life. This poor guy, man. So, Starlight, she goes into the elevator, and Homelander is pissed off because the last episode, if you've seen it, he tells her to kill Huey point blank, and she's like, I'm not an executioner, and I'm not just gonna go around killing people. We'll bring him to the police or turn him in, but I'm not gonna kill him. So, Homelander thinks that she's with Huey, which he is, but she tricks him on this. Starlight knows how to get out a lot of things. I'll give her that, man. Sometimes I think her superpower is talking her way out of things. Black Noir here is making this analyst feel uncomfortable, and he's wanting the address or any info or leads on the butcher, and the analyst actually sees that he was in the compound where his wife is. So I don't know. It's just an uncomfortable scene. This Black Noir guy I really like, though. He reminds me of Snake Eyes on G.I. Joe. He seems like it. So, Mother's Milk given a tip from the butcher about this 50-year-old superhero called Liberty, who had some settlement with Vought and this poor black lady. So he takes Huey and Starlight to go check it out and see if this leads anywhere. A-Train gets canned. This poor PR lady, man. I just feel so bad for her. She gets this job, and the first thing that happens to her is Homelander just basically tells her she's just a figurehead and she's not going to do anything. And the next thing she has to do is fire A-Train here. Homelander is getting rid of A-Train because he's got this heart condition or something that I guess it's from when he got in the coma or because he was using that compound B stuff too much or what, I don't know, but he he's having these really bad heart problems and he's just an ungrateful jerk in this. I mean, you'd think you'd be happy that somebody saves your life, man. I mean, so here we have the Brady Bunch in the car here, and I mean, this is really cringe. This scene is just I don't know where to begin. It's like a father taking his kids to the mall or something, and the kids are just being irritating brats, and they're singing that "We Didn't Light the Fire" song, and he just finally has enough and just turns it off. Frenchie here, after being dissed by Kimiko, goes to his booty call lady from the first season, and they go and hit it. I mean, this episode is just so boring. I just wish they had more going on in this episode. So here we have the butcher with his wife, and they're trying to they're trying to get a plan to get her out of there, and they end up banging in the back of this car, and it's just very uncomfortable because the butcher, he just, I don't know, it just seems like he's not into her or what. I don't know what happened. Just like it just wasn't working. So anyways, they get back to the plan, and she tells him there's a garbage pickup thing that comes there once every Thursday or something, and that's when we'll go. And he's like, okay, we'll do that. It sounds good. So that's the plan to get her and the kid out of there. Maria Menounos is on TV with some show here, and she's just memeing the Seven, a new one, about how they don't have diversity in their group and all this, and she's just like, how come you don't have a Mexican, and how come you don't have a transsexual, and how come you don't have this, and how come you don't have that, and Homelander just says we have a gay person, and then she's like, well, who's gay? And then he just totally outs Maeve on this, and Maeve's just like, um, okay, yeah, I guess I'll play along. I mean, she didn't really seem uncomfortable, and she just didn't really know what to do. I mean, she wasn't expecting to be outed, I guess, and Homelander, being his prick self, I mean, he pretty much won that conversation. She couldn't say much after that. I mean, that was a huge reveal. Stormfront here is holding her, I guess, anti-terror rally to incite people and get them to join her anti-terrorism thing or whatever to fight terrorists. And she's just going on about how she killed Kamiko's brother and how he was a bad person and we gotta kill these terrorists and they all need to die and all this. And Kamiko is there and she's just like traumatized and freaked out, and she's just having like hardcore PTSD, and she's getting ready to jump up on the stage and kill Stormfront and rip her head off. And Frenchie comes in and it's like, no, you can't do this. It's not gonna work right now. You're gonna get killed, and it's just not worth it. We're not gonna do it. And she ignores him, and she's getting ready to go kill her, and then Stormfront just flies off like Superman. I mean, she just totally just disappears. It looks like Superman. She just flies away. So now we're back at this house that they're investigating this superhero called Liberty, and Honey's Milk is just, you know, trying to pry this out of her, and she says, well, when I was a kid, my dad was driving a car, and this Liberty superhero killed my dad for no reason and accused him of stealing a car. And they only gave this lady $2,000. I mean, I don't know. I'd be like, I think you would want more than $2,000, even in whatever it was, the 50s or 60s or whatever. I mean, you'd just be like, you know, you freaking killed my dad and all this. So they're saying they're trying to get out of here. Well, do you know what happened to Liberty? Did she go to jail or what? What, did she disappear? Nobody's seen her for 50 years. Like, where is she? And she goes, I know where Liberty is. And she's getting ready to show her this newspaper. And this is Liberty, by the way, like getting ready to kill this guy or whatever in the flashback sequence. So it turns out that Stormfront and Liberty are the same person. So Stormfront's like 60 to 70 years old and hasn't aged at all or much of anything, and she's rebranded herself as Stormfront, and I guess she's trying to take over or do what. I guess her story's going to be revealed, but I mean, so far she just seems like this crazy racist lady. Here we have Homelander being trolled with memes by Stormfront. She's got these people sending him memes and trolling him, and boy, he's just really fired up. So next we cut to Butcher and his wife, and they're getting ready to get out of there. This is the plan. We're gonna do this now and all this, and at the very last minute, his wife changes her mind. I don't know why. I couldn't imagine wanting to live in that house with crazy Homelanders showing up and throwing your kid off the roof and just doing all of this crazy shit all the time, man. Like, I just don't know what this lady is thinking. So, the Butcher accidentally, and they get in this pissing match, and he's like, I don't like your super freak kid anyways, or something, and then she gets all bent, and he's like, oh, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry, and come on, we'll get the kid, and let's go, and what are you doing, and she decides to stay there with him, because she doesn't want the kid turning into another version of Homelander, like she's gonna, I don't know, change his life, or make Homelander's son a decent person, or something. It was very odd. I mean, I'm assuming this is something else is going to happen down the road here, so I guess we'll see what happens. But I mean, I just couldn't believe they go through all of this. He goes in there to get his wife back, and she's just like, "Oh no, I'm going to stay here, and we're going to fix this and all this, and we're going to be this happy family and screw off Butcher." I mean, I don't know. That whole thing was just. So Starlight here is just, she's just had enough, and she loves the guy, and they finally banged and all this, and Starlight is just like, okay, well, I can't have Homelander choking me every 5 minutes and going through all this. It's just too much, so we're gonna have to break up. And her and Huey, they break up. That's that. So here, here we have another one of these bachelor scenes, and that's going on throughout the whole episode. Well, it turns out that these interviews are to be the Deep's wife, because the Scientology nutsos are like, okay, we're gonna give you a wife and all this, and he wants this one, but they won't let him have it because they want him to have some emo goth lady or something. They didn't show her. I would have showed you the pic if they had shown the one they were saying. And the Deep is just like, no, I don't want that one. And they're like, well, tough shit. This is your new wife here, and this is gonna be your new life. Deal with it and all this. And the Deep is just, this guy is. I don't know. I'm just gonna laugh at what happens with this. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have a Scientology wedding or what's gonna happen here, really. So we're back at the doppelganger house, and Homelander is just, I mean, he's just really pissed off with Stormfront, and everything's falling apart, and he seems to just be having this, like, super breakdown, and the doppelganger's like, well, I got some breast milk here, and maybe that'll make you happy, and he's just like, I don't need you, and this isn't working, and she goes, well, how about this, and she turns into she turns into Homelander in a dress, and Homelander's like, what the hell is this? And he just gets freaked out and kills Doppelganger, and that's the end of Doppelganger. No more Doppelganger. So, I mean, overall, this was a crappy episode. It was just really, I don't know. It was a filler episode. That's all I can say about this episode. It was just a filler episode, and it was not good. I just didn't care for it. It was just a shitty episode. So, hopefully next week will be better. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it very much.